So I would like, while we're coming on, I will save this and I will probably put it in my blog post in the next week or so as well and on YouTube. But I wanted to tell you how I met Christy, and it was actually 3 years ago. We were both at a Jean Oliver workshop, and it was the first workshop I had attended at Jean's beautiful studio in Castle Rock. And we were sitting at two separate tables, and I kept looking over, and she just had all these beautiful colors and was painting, was so intentional, and like the artwork that was just flowing out of her during this workshop. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so good. Oh. And so I think that night we went to dinner, and I think we were sitting next to each other maybe. And I think so. And we had a couple other women sitting across from us, and we just started chatting. And you live in Colorado. Where do you live in Colorado?
I'm in Colorado Springs, so I wasn't very
Colorado Springs. So you're pretty close to Castle Rock. Yeah. It's like 40 minutes away, right?
Yeah, not too far. So.
And you were a graphic designer. It's what you have your fine arts degree in graphic design, right?
I do. So I was a fine art and art history major, and then I focused on digital art, and I did freelance graphic design for about 10 years. So worked at an ad agency and then did freelance work, and then ended up working for one of my clients for a few years as well. So and then I wanted to shift back and work with my hands and get a little bit away from the computer, and always just wanted to get back to the fine art and teaching.
Yeah. So was it, when you made that decision, was it to shift? I mean, I know when I shifted from dance into, I had no intention of like, I just wanted to do it for my soul. I just really felt the same. I want to work with my hands. I actually have a art history minor too.
Oh, okay.
Dance major, art history minor. So that's interesting. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
And I find that it was kind of challenging to make that shift, but I was just so hungry for, to try everything. And so how did you decide to shift like that? I mean, what made you decide?
I think it was overdue for me. I might have worked a little bit longer than I should have in graphic design. And I have young kids, so I wanted a better balance. I was going into the office, and I just always miss that creativity. I mean, you, as a graphic designer, you're creative, but you're always creating for a client, right? So when I got back into it, I really was just playing. I was trying to learn, explore who I was as an artist again. So it just allowed me to just kind of create again, and it was so liberating to create what I wanted to create instead of creating for a client always. So that was kind of the initial start for me.
Well, that's great. And how long ago was that?
So that was last January. So
last January.
I kind of dived a little bit back into my art, but I was still working in the office. And then I really just had a day where I was like, I'm going to quit and do something totally different. So
that's so exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. And I actually felt so relieved. I felt, that it was feeling like the right path, even though I didn't know what that meant last January. So.
Well, you just wrote, I think it was your newsletter or your blog, I can't remember which one, that you were talking about, you were in a coffee shop and someone asked you what you did and you said, I'm an artist, and you like owned it and you said it because of course you are an artist. Yes. So I've been getting a lot of emails about that, like how do I become brave enough to say I'm an artist, no matter where you are in your journey of creating.
And I think that's a challenge, whether you're doing it professionally or for a hobby. It's funny that artists kind of, we say, oh, well, I'm an artist, but I also do this. And I did that for so long. And now I feel like I can own it in the sense that, this is what I love. This is what brings me joy. So why can't I say that's what I am, So, it took some time to get there, though, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So do you have any advice to offer people who are struggling with owning it and just thinking about, this brings me joy? I like the way you said that. It brings me joy. This is what I want to do. And you don't have to follow it up. And, I work at this place. You can just say, I'm an artist.
I think so. I think just following those things that make you happy on a daily basis. I think it's so easy to get caught up in what's my purpose and who should I be and, where is this going? And instead just kind of filling your day with those little joys that keep lifting you up, right? And if you keep following those, that end goal and the end result is going to follow. And instead of thinking of the end result at the end, at the beginning, just kind of keep doing little things daily and practice and explore those things that really light you up.
That's really good advice. And I know that a lot of people who've reached out to me, they struggle with this, because there's so much visual content for us on social media, and there's that comparison and, that imposter syndrome, all those things that everyone feels at some time. But if you can go into wherever your workspace is, if you have a small, like the dining room table, I worked there for years in my creepy basement.
Right.
I've worked for years. And if you could just do something that brings you joy without the end result, because it all comes back to developing your process as an artist.
Right.
And that's what separates you.
Oftentimes people ask, how do I find my style? That's kind of the same thing. I feel like it just comes with time, right? It comes with exploring mediums, exploring different subjects, taking classes, learning, and then just practicing. I know for you take the portrait class on Fridays. I mean, stuff like that you can do, or 5 minutes in your journal. We've talked about it where you're in the car and, you're picking up your kids, or you're driving to the grocery store and you have 5 minutes, just having a little sketchbook, and then, that style will emerge, that end result will start to emerge. But, even then the end result, I feel like we're always going to be changing and hopefully growing as artists as well. So I don't know that there'll ever be an end.
Right. Oh yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's no, as we change and grow in our lives, and I think that that's going to show up in our art.
Right.
And the whole idea of taking that pressure off for the end result, because that's really not what it is. It's what you're doing to get there. It's
Right.
the daily practice. It's just going into your studio maybe and organizing your materials as part of the process.
Right.
It's laying out ideas, and we both do this. Many of us here in the creative community create little inspiration, pulling ideas together, reading books. All these things are going to go into who you are and how you see the world and the meaning. And I think we get caught up on the style thing because we want to create something that's uniquely personal.
Right.
And we all have this very deep well of creativity, and I think it's kind of finding the trust within ourselves, like, okay, I don't have to make a masterpiece. I'm just going to sketch this, and that one little sketch will lead to the next sketch, to the next thing as we develop. And taking art classes from people who you admire their work, or you feel like it's something within what inspires you. And I always tell people, you've got to feel it. If that teacher is inspiring you, you like what they're teaching, take the class.
Right.
Do it for yourself. It's like self-care.
It is. It absolutely is so important to include. So.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Day in Provence. The class is stunning. It is just so well crafted. There's so much inspiration. There's so many different elements that you can take as an artist and take it into your own work and make it uniquely yours. And it shows a lot about how your process evolves. We get to share, stand there next to you as you walk alongside you, as you share your process for creating the pieces you create. And so I would like you to tell us a little bit about, you're very travel focused and you dive deep into different cultures. And I find that very interesting because there's a wealth of inspiration there. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have always had a love for both travel and art. And I wanted to find a way that I could kind of merge the two. And then with the art history background, I love to study the art history. I like to hear, the story behind the artist or the place or where they're from and how they're influenced by surroundings. So I just kind of followed that passion where I was like, I started out actually, my kids and I would study a country a month, and they're young, so we would just do little craft projects, and we'd cook a meal from wherever we were traveling to. And then it kind of evolved for me last year, and it was like, I could kind of combine this into art classes. So that's where, Day in Provence came from, and just that love of art history, the love of travel, and the love of art. But that feeling that you get when you travel, that you have those, rose-colored lenses, and everything just seems so new. And I just wanted to let people have that feeling where they could travel somewhere just from their home or their studio. Especially,
well, I think you accomplished that really well in the class. I mean, I just feel like I'm on vacation with you and sketching with you, and where's my baguette? And that's just such good storytelling in the class.
And that's what I love. And I've been like cooking, bread while you're painting, and you can smell the bread, or bringing, dried lavender into your studio. I mean, small ways. And we'll go through a little bit of that in like the Facebook group for the course, but I'll give a lot more ideas of videos and music you can listen to, because I really want you to just like feel like you're traveling there. And for Day in Provence, it was, you have one day, and it doesn't have to be realistic. Where would you go for your day? And I have a love for so many different mediums and so many different subject matters. I couldn't really stick to one. And you'll see that through the course, where we'll go through, journals and portraits and landscapes and abstracts, and kind of different ways that you can connect to the country.
Well, I think that's one of the things I love about your class. And I think that, when people are kind of searching for what they want to create, by having a taste of, here's your art journal, like working in your journal, and how that's going to lead to the importance of that, and how it's going to lead to the next thing you create. But, we all want to do everything. And I love that you have these mini landscapes and this beautiful abstract and the portrait. So it gives us an opportunity to dip our toe into the water and try different types of within genres of art. Like, are you a landscape artist? Are you an abstract artist? You can test out the waters and see what resonates with you.
Right.
And then all the different materials that you use, we all have so many things in our studio, and sometimes, well, I haven't used that in a while, so maybe I'll do that, pull that out, or substitute something. So you don't have to have everything on the list that Christy has in the class. We don't want you to do that at all.
And we'll say that you've said it over and over again in your classes, and I too. If you have a pen and watercolors, that's all you need. I like to explore different mediums. It helps me grow as an artist and teacher. So, that's why there's so many. But you obviously don't have to use all those. You can use your favorite medium or your own color palette. My hope is that it just sparks something in you where you follow it. Let's say you love the mini landscapes, and you can continue to study the region of Provence, and then just follow it and do more mini landscapes. So
that's what's great about the class, and I like that concept. I try to do that in my classes too, where here's an idea, and I may mention this in my class, here's an idea, and if I like doing this. For example, I did a nest painting last year for a class, and that one nest was the jumping off point for this series of, I ended up creating like 50 nests that were completely abstracted down, and it gave me one idea. So when you take a class, look at the lessons, look at all of them. You don't even have to do all of them, and see what resonates with you, and can you see yourself creating a series of work. Dive deeper and deeper into a lesson, or come back to one. Like if you've taken a class and you come back to one, you can go back to a lesson and see. That's when you push yourself as an artist, when, okay, here's Christy's lesson. Now, how can I make this my own and take it further? And, then you turn off the computer, then you dive into your own and develop your own process.
Well, and you do such a beautiful job in your classes of that storytelling piece, Renee. It really is a true inspiration. So
Oh, thank you, Christy. So next week, we're going to do something fun. We're going to give away 2 spots to your class
yes.
on Instagram. And what you'll do is kind of like what we did with Tiffany's class. You follow Christy, you follow me. We'll put a post up next week, and then you will tag a friend. And then she's going to pick someone from her group, and I'll pick someone from my group, and then we have 2 winners. And then you're going to be giving away something in the class, right?
I have another special giveaway. I love to kind of create artist travel bags, as if you were packing your bags up and you're going to Provence. So we might have something related to that. So.
Well, Chris, you know, I have to say, Olivia and I signed up for Christy's the passports to Mexico, and I wanted Olivia to do it. And I think I showed Olivia's little abstract she did. So we both looked at the class. It was so beautiful. And then Chris, our name was entered into the drawing.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, I pulled your name. So her package, when it came, it was just so beautiful, and it was filled with so much joy. And Olivia's going, oh, I never win anything. So the winner's very lucky. Whoever wins your little surprise. So that's great.
So beautiful. So
she did a great job. So you're also going to do a couple Facebook Lives in the group.
Yes. Yep. And we will be solidifying the dates on those, but they will be on the Facebook group.
Okay.
Bonus lesson.
So we'll do that. That kind of like what we did in my classes. And then what we'll do is we'll say if you miss it and you're on your tablet or your phone and you can't access it to the group, we will save it to the classroom. So you will be able to access it. And we might edit it down a little bit, but we'll save it down to the classroom so you can revisit it. So you get these bonus lessons, and it's a good opportunity. What I found in Collected Stories, that the day before I would just ask people, or I would look through all the posts and see where people had questions, and then I would just combine those questions, and so you can ask Christy anything you want, and then she will address that in the live. She'll just go through her list of questions and whatever else she wants to do. So it's kind of nice to be there again with her and have some access to her as well. I think it brings in one more level of connectivity with within the community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll
have other bonus lessons and recipes and that kind of thing. I have a chef that's coming up with something for this class specifically. So.
Oh, yay! Bonus lessons. Good. Libby's like signing up.
Yeah.
Hey, Libby. Okay. Well, I'm so excited about it. Is there anything else that you want to tell us? I think we covered everything about the class. Let me look on here to see if there are any questions.
Or I'm happy to answer them, through the feed as well if they couldn't make it today.
Right. Oh, thank you, Vicki. So 2 of my favorite online artists and people. Thank you. So just go through the feed. You guys ask any questions that you have of Christy or me, and we will definitely help you. The class opens May 7th.
Yes.
So next week will be the giveaway, and then I'm not sure what will happen the 3rd week, but we'll be reminding you about it. I'm very excited to have Christy on my network. It's really important to me to collaborate with other artists and kind of open it up so that you have opportunities as artists yourselves to explore a different perspective in art, and it really enriches your vocabulary. I think your whole creative vocabulary, your visual vocabulary. So when you learn things and you make decisions when you take classes, like I really loved this one thing. If you can take away one thing,
exactly,
then it's like that one golden nugget is everything. So Christy, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you coming here.
Part of your network.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'm going to say goodbye to Christy. I'm going to stay because I want to tell you guys one thing. So thanks, Christy.
Bye.
Bye.